As they race up towards the line.
Russell's going along like a winner.
With a photo finish between second and third.
Oh, it was close.
Welcome everyone to the SmartB racing update and back a winner as well. I've got Joe with me. Joe, thanks for joining me. How are you doing?
Great. Wasn't it a fantastic run from Via Sistina last week?
It broke news headlines. It was beating the track record by 2 seconds. James Macdonald's 100th win in features. He got up in the irons. It was an unbelievable effort after a tumble during the week from Via Sistina, and we had prognosis break the track record in second. It was just a heck of a race. And with the Melbourne Cup around the corner, Joe, what were your thoughts? Via Sistina's not going around. She's going to go around in the Champion Stakes. What did you take of that?
I think that's probably the right decision because the Cox Plate is just over 2,000 metres. The step up to 32 is a big one in such a short space of time, whereas the other race, I think, is probably better.
It is a decent leap up. I think that, and we can sort of just sit and admire the win. I didn't sort of mind the move of not getting too greedy and just coming off an enormous track record. It'd be a shame to see her sort of flatten out and run 9th or 10th. If she did, not saying she would, she might have won by even further in the Melbourne Cup. We'll never know, but yeah, I think it's a good move.
It's disappointing, but yes, I think it's the right move for the horse.
And everyone with the futures markets on Via Sistina goes, But yeah, that was Via Sistina. We've got the Melbourne Cup round the corner next week, which will be fantastic. Plenty of Australian-based talent in there. We'll have a podcast separately for that, so stay tuned. Should be out Sunday or Monday, and you can get your bets on early. That's the day where exotics are very popular, so we might even try throw in a few exotics there, Joe, and for anyone getting involved with those. Just for this weekend, we've got a 9-race card at Flemington, all of them features, and 4 features at Rosehill. Before we do, we've got Ascot as well, and before we even do that, Joe was tipping up a storm yesterday. It's how many did you get right, Joe?
I missed one in WA.
So for anyone following or closely following Joe's tips there, missed one in WA. So impressive effort, almost got the card. Well, it's just around the corner, tipping the card. Hopefully it's on this weekend or Melbourne Cup Day would be special. With Ascot, we've got the 2 features and then the rest of them just the standard races. So first one here, Joe, Prince of Wales Stakes, interesting favourite. Bravo Centurion just building a picket fence here. It's 5 from 7 wins in its career, 5 wins this prep, just keeps winning. Beating Saloon Bar, who's in this as well. They contest again. There was just 0.2 between them. And then it's out to Snowdome, who runs fresh. And Boots Like Bruce is also a pretty exciting prospect. It's had an undefeated last prep. It came off a 3-month spell and just came back and won every race it contested in, beating Saloon Bar at the very finish by a head. So it's probably a length between these, Joe. Have you lent to anyone in this?
No, I've gone for Bravo Centurion. I mean, 5 out of 5 this prep. The last one was the Crawford Stakes, which is the traditional lead up to this Prince of Wales. It's going through the traditional lead up and it's just winning so well that I think it'll be Bravo Centurion from Saloon Bar again. And then Snowdome won the race last year and comes good this time of year. So I think there's a place chance too. But it's a good little race.
Yeah, it's a good race, all tying in form. So I expect it to be a close finish there. We've got the Asian Bow Stakes, race 8. This is a handy field as well. I actually didn't mind the trial of Yonga Lass, who resumes from barrier 1, William Pike, 650 into 550. Promising runner, 7 from 15, and just flies on this track 3 out of 5. There's good intent there with Pike aboard, and he's 6 out of 9 aboard. So ticking all the boxes. Super Smink, the favourite. Excellent effort last start from barrier 14 behind Comfort Me's. Tidy form for this. zip away, flies fresh, flies at the track. And there's a few chances. The Diamond Scene as well. I was impressed with that first up win. So it was big odds and won well. Brave Spirit also in the mix. Pretty even race, Joe. Have you lent anyone's way in this one?
You just disappointed me because I've tipped Yonga Lass and you've told me they're already backing it.
Yeah, $5.50 now.
Still a good price. That's still very each-wayable, but that's my top pick, and then Super Smink is my second pick.
Yeah, the trial was good for anyone that sort of gets stuck into them. Just was moved really well in front of boots like Bruce, who's in the race prior. And yeah, barrier 1, Will Pike, who knows the horse super well with 54 kilos. I think that's the way we're both going. Yeah, Super Smink will run well from barrier 6 with Chris Parnham aboard. So good few races there to watch for those getting involved later on. We'll touch on Rosehill. We've got a few features here. There is the 4 Pillars Midway, which quite a nice payout there. It's country trainers. This is a stacked field, Joe. This is nearly the hardest race I've ever seen. I was giving chances all the way down to Arale, who's $46. It's just, if anyone lands the winner in this, you're having a good day. So Alabama State, the favourite, barrier 22. It's you got to be brave from there, but certainly racing well. There's a lot of chances in this. Extreme Freedom at $13 has some handy form as well. So I don't really have a selection for this one, but good luck to the trainers out there in this. And this is a big field. It'll come in with scratchings. But anyone betting in this, it's $7 a favourite and then double figures. So tricky run there. Less tricky is the Russell Balding Stakes. We've got Bella Nipotina favourite off an enormous win in the Everest. Well done, anyone that followed in with our selections. She was just, how good was she, Joe, from the wide draw?
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. One of the best.
Underrated. I've sort of warmed up to her the past maybe 5 or 6 starts, but she's just never out of the finish. It's her career place record 63%, and her recent place record would just be unbelievable. She just knows how to be in the finish. I can't see her losing this if she doesn't plateau, and she just doesn't know how to plateau. So she's almost got $20 million earnings. She looks the one in this. Sunshine in Paris is quality runner. Its form's quite good. Has to find a length and a half on Bella. Could do so, but the barrier makes it a bit tricky. Bella's got the measure of it. Private Eye, I just don't think barrier 1's for Private Eye. It comes out of the same race as the first 2 I've just mentioned, but it's good enough with its pattern. It's just going to need a saloon up the inside, which I don't know if that'll eventuate. Iron Me, worth thought in this. Did beat Bella Nipotina fresh a few months ago. I think Bella's got her measure now, but she can bob up. She comes out of the same races in the Everest. Marzu's definitely back in form now, but its D-Day was probably 2 years ago. And King of Sparta's a decent dry tracker that has form around Overpass, so that should be around the mark. I'm with Bella in this one. Joe, are you with Bella?
I'm with Bella, and if it rains, because there's a possibility of rain, my each way small bet would be Coal Crusher.
Yeah, interesting. It is a bit of a wet tracker, Coal Crusher, 4 from 8 in the heavy. I suppose you'd also be hoping, Joe, on speed with that, wouldn't you? It'll be up on the pace.
Yeah, barrier 3. So yeah, but that's only if there's rain. Otherwise, it's just Bella all the way.
Yeah, and Bella can handle it. She's made the Quinella 5 out of 6 times on heavy. I think she's more effective on sort of soft or good ground. I think if we get into a decent sort of soft 7, she might be vulnerable. But yeah, that's she looks the one. Golden Eagle. This is a cracker, and this is a race where you just can't really head in with too much confidence because all of these have different form lines. We've got Ascoli Pacino, who's got huge raps, Japanese runner. They know how to win this race. $1.50 favourite over in Japan. I know they've been sprucing it up. It's 5s into $4. I've got it on top. The Magic Man from barrier 17 is going to need to provide a magic ride. Second line of betting, Jolly Star. I was very keen to be against it in the Everest. I thought it was way under the odds at $6. I couldn't see how it was even near that price. I thought its run was good enough to take this out. A length and a half loss in the Everest is probably good enough for this, but I still think Joe hasn't done enough for me down under yet. I just don't think, first up win beating our Cobuston, and that's probably its biggest statement. So it's still a Raps horse for me, but could come out and win this. Lazat is 6 from 6, French import. I've managed to catch a few of its runs over in France. It's promising runner. All you can do is win. Whether that form's right for this, well, very tricky to know, but all you can do is win, and that's what it's been doing. And Tom Kitten, I thought he was a bit under the odds in this. He'll be thereabouts, and he was good last start, but behind a good field behind Channel Wolf. But yeah, he's a tricky horse to catch. Steffi Magnetica also capable of taking this out. Southport Tycoons. There's a lot of chances. Do you like anyone in this, Joe?
I think I'll probably leave this race alone. It's too tricky with the couple of the foreign horses. Like, you can't leave a 6 out of 6 horse out.
Mm.
And there's a couple of horses that are big prices that I like that probably aren't good enough, but good place. I like Craig and I like NCAP that are quite big prices. And then there's all the ones up the top. I think the Japanese horse, the barrier is a killer there. But yeah, the foreign horses are very hard to line up. So I think that race, I may not have a bet on that one.
Yeah, it's a tricky one to line up. I've gone with the favourite. I think the market says a bit. I know barrier 17 is tricky. Hopefully can find the back of something, but I'm happy to go with the Raps. I know that they Japanese won this last year. They're pretty keen on it, so I'll trust them.
Yep.
It just depends from 17 what happens. I'm going to be against Jolly Star again. She might come out egg on face for me, but I'm going to work around her. On to the next one. Got Rosehill, the Gold Cup. It's a pretty hard race to line up this one as well because a lot of these haven't won in a long time. Hinged is just so overdue, but racing well. Its last start was again at $3.50. It was beaten by Lekvart. Well done if anyone took that, who we had tipped up.
Yes.
The 3 runs back, it was beaten by Buckaroo, who is the Melbourne Cup favourite at the moment. So it's got the form, but it doesn't know how to win at the moment. So, yeah, frustrating to catch. And then Faulkner Park, who I think is better than its 2 runs back. I think it can take this out. Tricky draw. Nonconformist hasn't won in a long time, but it does look on track. I've loved its last few runs. 4 lengths off attrition, comes out of that Buckaroo and Hinged race where it wasn't far away. And this looks a pretty good race for it, third up off what was almost a year off. So that's the chance I do like at odds. But there's a few imports in this as well. And the favourite's actually a UK import. So a tricky race. I think Nonconformist and Faulkner Park are the 2 at odds, but hard to be confident. Both of them drawn wide, and none of these are winning out of turn. In fact, I don't think any of these have winning form. Do you like anyone in this, Joe?
No, it's another race I think I will leave alone.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. We'll move over to Flemington. I'm keen to get involved in the first. It's just kick off the day, 11:20, get a win on the board. Feroce, it's ready to win. Thought its last start was solid. Just lost to Private Life at huge odds, but not overly shocked it was huge odds in that. It beat Perspiration earlier this year, and I think that's really good form for this. You go looking at the field, there's not... Some of these are jumping up from maiden grade, and some of these I think it's the runs on the board with the favourite here. Dangers both from the Wally Yard, Kanara and Aliana with James Macdonald aboard. So he's got a good hand in this race, but I'm with the favourite. Joe, do you like anyone here?
I like the favourite too here.
Yeah, I love that Perspiration form. I think that's definitely good enough to take this out. Barrier 5, ready 4th up, rock hard 5th. It'll take some beating. Tab Vanity Stakes, we haven't got a bet in there, but very open field. Rising Fast Stakes, also a pretty open field, which we haven't got a bet in. I'll just briefly mention the Damien Oliver, named after one of the greats we've had. I could not catch him ever, but he was a proper winner and in all kinds of races. So good to see a race named after him. Jimmy Star's absolutely airborne, looking for 3 straight. Gets the right race here, and 4 out of 4 with Blake Shin aboard. So hard to beat, very hard to beat. Another Will's the one I've got on top. I thought it was just fair last start, beaten quite a long way, but $2.20. I think it can bounce back from the good draw here. Jamie Carr's 6 out of 7 aboard, so her coming is a pretty good push. I don't mind that form around here to shock. I think it's a good horse. Then it just falls apart after that. Tamerlane's trialled really nicely and sort of goes out to double figures. Anyone in this one you have your eyes on, Joe?
I like Jimmy Star and I like Tamerlane.
Yeah, it was a good trial from Tamerlane.
It didn't really fire last preparation. You look at what it did last prep, 9.817, but with the good trial, I think that's worth an each way bet and a nice price.
Yeah, $10 for anyone wanting to get involved. Wakeful Stakes, I'll just briefly touch on this. I'm keen to be against the favourite. I know its form was good. Did look an absolute certainty on paper at Hawkesbury. $1.20 they backed it into. But, yeah, I'm keen to go against it off that maiden win. I think there's better form here. Treasure of the Moment's flying this prep. 2 wins from 3 goes. And Jenny's Meadow has some nice form around Two Darn Discreet, who's a really promising stayer. So I think you can back them both a little bit and take the favourite on there. Might have the JMac factor with the price. Race 6, the Coolmore Stud Stakes. This is a really handy race. We had Traffic Warden, who was supposed to be in the Everest and got scratched. So that would take a heap of beating in this. But Growing Empire was an outstanding run in the Everest, a length and a half loss. I mean, it's only a 7-start horse. It's just come in leaps and bounds, this prep. It's been flying. Beat First Settler, just lost to Southport Tycoon on the line and that controversial ride. I think it's airborne. Switzerland was a very good winner, fresh, beating Coleman, who I was keen on that day. And First Settler's in this race, so there's a lot of good form in this. Bellatrix Star looking for 4 in a row. And Lady of Camelot also comes out of the Everest, and she was outstanding. She ran well above her odds. So this is sort of 3 or 4 from the Everest here, Joe. Is there anyone you like in this?
I think this is a trifecta race. I like Traffic Warden, I like Bellatrix Star, and a couple of the other ones that you mentioned too. So I think I might pick 4 horses and box them up.
There it is, trifecta race for anyone following Joe in. We've got the Derby just to finish off. Just before we do touch on this, the other 2 features are the Empire Rose Stakes with Joe's favourite horse in it, Amelia's Jewel, and the Furphy Sprint in the last of the day. The Derby's a cracker, I think, Joe. This is El Castello's looking for 5 in a row. It's I think I tipped it up, was keen on it fresh when my other horse got scratched, won it with 61 kilos at $13, and it just keeps winning. And I've got it on top, Joe. I just think it's barrier 18 is obviously a massive task, but it's 2,500. First look at the track, there's a few question marks. I think $3.80 is a nice enough bet. This is a really promising runner. All you can do is win, and they don't often look for 5 in a row. So I'm with the favourite. Red Aces is on the decent backup from last week. Very good ride from Jamie Mott. Landed there in time, and I just think the triple suit it. Leaps up a fair bit, and it just looks like it was running through the line. So I know the stable have good wraps on it. King of Thunder has J-Mac from Barrier 1 and a few other chances in this. I'm with the favourite, Joe. Do you have any thoughts in the Derby?
I like the favourite, and my second pick is Red Aces, so I'm sort of betting with the market there.
Yeah, it looks pretty spot on. I think the prices are fair enough. It's a good race. I'm keen to see where they slot in. If El Castello finds a good spot, it'll take some beating. I'll just briefly touch on one selection I'm keen on Sunday as well. Early on is Mornington race 4 vaccination. Barrier 12 bit tricky, but Stackhouse is flying, and its latest jump out was excellent, Joe. Led and won by 4 lengths, probably could have won by 6 or 7. It had Blake Shin aboard, and barrier 12, I think, in Mornington, head straight to the front. If it runs up to its trial, it should be going very close in this field. And it's had a lot of trials. So it has been off the scene for since January. So it's had a long break, but it's had a stack of jump outs, and its latest one, it moved really well. I'd love to see some intent from the top and see if that can find the front, because the favourite in this is beaten 4.5 lengths in a maiden. So I'm keen to get involved here. I think 650 is really good odds. That's all for the weekend. Do you have a best bet for us at all, Joe?
No. It's too big a weekend.
Yeah, too big a weekend. We'll definitely have a few best bets on our Sunday podcast when we do the Melbourne Cup, and we'll have a run each for the Cup. That wraps it all up. Thanks very much for joining me, Joe. Good luck to everyone on the weekend, and make sure to check out the SmartB racing update. Follow them on and the sports update as well, and follow them on their socials. We have all our selections up on Back a Winner and the podcast as well to listen to on normal streaming platforms. Joe, thanks for joining me as always, and I'll chat to you on Sundays. We have a huge week next week as well with the Melbourne Cup.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Russell's going along like a winner.
With a photo finish between second and third.
Oh, it was close.